We're going to do some extra credit practice with closures. The more often you code something, the easier it gets. I generally find that if I do something 6 to 8 times, I pretty much remember it. Closure practice. You can call it practice or extra credit. And so closures are like a really specific type of function where we can simplify things and just make them basically a variable. So we're going to create variable my circle because we're going to be creating area here. Now it's a good idea to get in the habit of putting notes to yourself in the form of comments. Supposed to do. Okay, so we're creating my circle and we're going to have it equal, and then we have to put in the curly bracket because this really is a function, and we have to, like we were declaring a function, tell it what are we going to be working with. So we're going to be working with the radius, which is our name, our local parameter name, our variable, our argument. Those are all called the same things. And it's a double, which is a double means that it has a floating point. It's a number with a decimal. And we also have to use the arrow for a return type. And the return type is going to be a double as well, because we need to know what's going to be returned. And then we're going to use the keyword in, and then we're going to have it return 3.14, which is pi, times radius, which is radius squared, pi r squared. And so we have my circle. So here, to use it, we would have to call my circle. And so we'd like set, so we might have something where we're doing area, we can do it like this: variable area of circle equals my circle, and we can pass it the radius, which we'll say is 3.2, and we can print area circle, and we can give it a quick test. There we go. We haven't gotten into rounding or anything like that, so this is good enough. You see it out here, and the cool thing is, because it's named, we can call it again. So we can do we can change what the variable is, var area circle, or we could just say var circle. We can do a different one. It doesn't really matter. We could do it either way. Equals my circle 5, and we can print circle, and we can give that a shot. So we can get the area of the circles here. So now I'm going to drop my other, I'm going to sort of group these together, and I'm going to drop my next one, which will be var my triangle. And if you remember geometry, triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we're going to need base, which will be double, height, oops, don't need the second parenthesis, height, which will be a double, and then we're going to return a double in, that's our keyword, return. So triangle is 1/2 base times height, so it will be base times height times 0.5, which is 1/2, and then we'll test it. So we're going to toss in here var area triangle equals my triangle 5, 8, and then we will print area, triangle, oops, that's area, circle, print area, triangle, and then we're going to have to do another one, and we can just redefine that variable if we want. Var area triangle, we're replacing what's stored in memory there, equals my triangle 4,7, and we will print area triangle. And there we go. Oh, it does not like us redefining that. So we'll just call this one triangle. Oh, you know why? Because they redefined it with a variable. If I just redefine it without redeclaring it, that gets rid of an ambiguity. Or it should, yep, that does. So the problem was that I used variable again, which is like redeclaring it, where what I'm really doing is just changing the contents of it. So I can run that here. Ah, it doesn't like that because it should have been 0.5. It's one of the problems you get when you move from language to language. I've been doing a lot of work in Python lately, which does a little bit different syntax. And syntax is like the grammar of a programming language. So that gives you an example, and you're going to go out to the website I shared with you that has the different areas. I think there's like 6 shapes in there. So I want you to recreate the circle and the triangle ones that I did for practice, and go on and do the parallelograms and the rectangles and the squares and the various other shapes that it defines for you, and practice with each of one by testing it twice. And you should actually be a little nicer here. You could do circle 1 area plus, and then you're going to have to convert this to a string, and that makes it a little more user-friendly, so we know what we're looking at. And I recommend that you do that for each of them. So go ahead and add those when you're doing the circle and triangle practices on your own.